Hi, this is Jamie Arenthal. Welcome to your Vinyasa yoga class. Please use props, modifications, anything you need to do today to make the poses work for you. Okay, we're going to begin in a seated position, Sukhasana. Feel free to use a block to sit on. And if sitting cross-legged doesn't work for you, just change it up. You can extend the leg out long. If you are seated on the ground, you can use your hands to move the flesh of the buttocks back and behind you. And then circle the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Exhale everything out. Inhale as you lift those shoulders up and back. So exhale, rounding forward. Inhale, lifting up and back. Beautiful. Take a moment, close your eyes, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Noticing the effect of the breath as you inhale, feeling the air entering in through your nostrils, moving in through your nasal passageways, brushing against the back of your throat, expanding you through the rib cage. Maybe even expanding through the belly. And then notice the effects of the exhalation on you as the belly flattens, the rib cage narrows. You notice the breath moving past your throat, nasal passageways, and out through your nose. Use the inhalation to lengthen your spine, sitting up taller, stacking one vertebra on the next. Use the exhalation to deepen the pose, to help ground you, help you settle in, relax. Inhalation, nourishing, expanding, lengthening, lightening. Exhalation, deepening, making you heavier, connecting you, grounding. Just a few moments of conscious breathing helps to settle our minds and settle us into our yoga practice. With your eyes remaining closed, bring your hands to a prayer at heart center. I invite you to set an intention for your yoga practice today. If nothing comes to mind, feel free to use ahimsa. Ahimsa is one of the Yogi 10 commandments, and it translates to do no harm, nonviolence. And when I take the intention of ahimsa to my yoga practice, to me, it means be gentle, have self-compassion, let that inner critic be quiet. What would you say to your best friend when they're struggling? Would you continue to beat on them and criticize them, or would you give them encouragement, give them that compassion? So bring that compassion to yourself. That, to me, is what ahimsa is. And go ahead and you can float your eyes open. Inhale your prayer hands up to the sky, and then twist over to your right side. Anchor your fingers. So left fingers on right knee, right fingers are behind you, and then gently swivel your gaze to the back of your room. Just breathing here. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up and turn to your left side, anchoring fingers. So right hand on left knee, left fingers behind you, and swivel your gaze to the back of your room. On the next inhale, reach up and back to your right side. Use the exhalation to pull the belly button in towards your spine. Sit up nice and tall, gently twisting. Inhale, center, over to your left. Exhaling so the belly button pulls in deeply toward your spine, sitting up straight, gazing toward the back of the room. And then inhaling, coming back to center. Release the hands down by your sides. You can place your hands on your knee and gently pull the belly button in, tuck your tail and tuck your chin. This is a seated cat-cow. And then as you inhale, lift your heart up, roll the shoulders back, gaze up. As you exhale, belly button in, tip your tailbone, chin to chest, cat pose. And as you inhale, arch your back, sitting forward, gazing up, cow pose. Continue like that. Use your exhalation to round, belly button in. You can use Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. And then inhale, release those locks and gaze upward. Exhaling, locking the breath out. Inhaling, expanding, extending. One more time. Exhaling, grounding. Inhaling, expanding. And then go ahead and just start to circle around the base of your spine. Use those belly muscles. See if there are any little clicks or hiccups along the way. I always feel that in the morning, little readjustments to the spine. And then you can reverse the circle. Remember to breathe. Use the exhalation as you round back. Use the inhalation as you come forward. Just preparing the spine for the work to come. And then back to center. Good. Coming over to all fours on your mat. And I'll go sideways just to demonstrate. We'll sit back on our heels, walk the fingers out in front. You can tent your fingers here so the arms are off the mat. Make sure either your chin is tucked or you're just removing the wrinkles from the back of your neck. And walk your fingers over to your left side. Your hips might shift over to the right. That's fine. Straighten your elbows and then lower your head between your straight arms. Feeling stretched through right side body. Again, relax the head down. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. And then staying outstretched, walk your fingertips through the center and over to your right side. Hips can shift left. Straighten your elbows, lower your head, tucking the chin. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Staying outstretched. Let's do that again. So walking your hands over to your left side. And again, if you want to make this more intense, you can take the right hand and place it on top of the left. Just make sure both elbows stay straight as you lower your head between your arms. And then over to your other side, walking the hands to the right. And this time, if you want to make it more intense, the left hand goes on top of the right, just increasing the sensation down left side body. Then coming back to the center. Spread the fingers wide. As you inhale, come forward into a plank on your knees. So this is like a modified push-up position. And then come back to your heels, child's pose. And if you need padding under your knees, you can always do that. Just double up your mat or bring over a towel or blanket. Inhale, come forward. Now, if you like, you can take this into back extension or a curve in the back, like cow back, if you like. Just remember, use that belly button, pull yourself back in as you sit back on child's pose. Inhale, come forward. You can stop at modified plank or come all the way open to that back bend, kind of like a variation on upward facing dog, cobra. Exhale, belly button in, sit back on your heels. And then let's change it up just a little bit. So come forward, whichever way you've chosen. And as you exhale, bring your hips over to that right side and draw a circle with your hips. And then come back to that forward position. Inhale. Exhale, draw that circle. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, draw that circle. Remember to let your head go, no wrinkles on the back of your neck. And inhale, let's change that circle direction. So drop those hips around to the left, draw a circle. It's really a teardrop shape, isn't it? Exhale for that circle, lower your head. Come back to center. And then go ahead and sit back on your hips, child's pose. Keeping in mind that you can return to child's pose, balasana, whenever you need a break during our practice. Coming up to your knees, curl the toes beneath you, find your downward facing dog. So it's our first downward dog of the day. So you might want to shake your head no, shake your head yes. You can bend your knees a little bit here and tip your tailbone up to the sky, letting the head drop between your straight arms. And then start to pedal, but do it slowly. So drop the left heel down, bend the right knee, take a breath. And then change sides. Drop the right heel down, bend the left knee, take a breath. Just ease into this and really roll out through each bottom of the foot like it's a little mini foot massage that you're giving yourself here in this downward facing dog. And then roll up on both tippy toes and inhale forward to a plank. Look forward. Breathe in, breathe out. Go ahead and activate your thigh muscles, the front of your thighs, lifting those kneecaps up. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, return to downward facing dog. And we'll go back and forth a few times. Inhale forward to plank. A reminder, you can modify on your knees. Exhale, downward dog. So if you're on your knees, it's pretty much what we did earlier. Inhaling forward to that maybe modified plank and exhaling back to child's pose. Otherwise, you're with me. Inhale, plank, eyes forward. Exhale back to downward dog, gazing at your toes, ankles, or knees. Inhale, forward, plank. Exhale back, downward dog. Really nice. Last time. Inhale forward to plank. And then exhale back to downward dog. Bend your knees here. Look forward between your hands. You can take little baby steps to walk forward, or if you're ready, you can step, or hop. Take a deep breath in, inhale, gaze forward, and as you exhale, forward fold. My knees are soft here to protect my lower back. You can do the same. And try that again. Inhale, flat back, maybe walking the hands up your shins so that you can extend your spine. It really is a standing cat-cow again. So you're inhaling to that cow back, and as you exhale, pull your belly button in, round over for forward fold. It's really that cat pose, nose pointing toward knees. One more time like that. Inhale, lengthen. Sometimes this is called half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, nose to knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees a lot, tuck your chin, roll your way up, one vertebra at a time, head last to come up. And we'll circle the shoulders up, back, and down, preparing for sun salutations. So I like to stand with my feet hip width apart, right under each hip point. If you're more comfortable, you can always have the big toes touching with a little space between your heels for parallel feet. So any option. Circle those shoulders up, back, and down, palms face forward. We're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan diving, hinging at the hip. Inhale, flat back or Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Step your right leg back, step your left leg back, downward facing dog. Modified vinyasa to start. Inhale to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chin, and chest. Inhale onto your belly, baby cobra. Exhale, bend your knees, child's pose. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a couple breaths here. Again, you can play with this. You can pedal your heels, shake your head out, slide those shoulders away from your ears. Just keep tipping that tailbone up high and letting the crown of your head point toward the mat. And then bend your knees, look forward. Again, your choice. You can take a big step, lots of little steps, hop. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold. Look forward, reverse swan dive. Exhale, centering breath at heart. Release the hands, Tadasana. Inhale, swan dive, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Exhale to fold. Go ahead and step back or jump, downward dog. So just easing our way into it. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees down, chin, chest down, elbows in. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Downward facing dog. Looking forward, stepping or hopping forward. Flat back, inhale, and exhale, let it go, fold. Look forward, reverse your swan. Exhale, prayer to heart center, and hands to Tadasana. Inhale, swan dive. Exhale. Inhale, prepare. If you want to jump back, you're bending the knees, looking forward. Exhale. Coming through a vinyasa and downward dog. Taking breaths. Look forward. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive. Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And breathe. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Reverse swan. Tadasana. One more time like that, just warming up. To the top of your mat. Tadasana. Moving on to the second sun salutation. So this time we'll start with our chair pose. So I'll begin explaining and then we'll move into doing it by ourselves. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Right leg lifts up, steps forward. Inhale for warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Left leg up. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, come through your vinyasa, even if that's simply to come back directly to downward facing dog, always an option. Take 3 breaths. Come to the front of your mat, flat back, and fold. Chair pose. Tadasana. So each movement has a breath, right? Think of the inhalations as those lengthening breaths, the exhalations as those grounding breaths. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or Urdhva Svanasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale the right foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And stay. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. We want the mouth closed and the eyes open, generating heat. Front of the mat. Inhale, prepare, flat back. And exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain pose. So in the Ashtanga practice, we actually count. It's 17 counts. So 1, inhale, chair. 2, exhale, fold. 3, inhale, prepare. 4, exhale, chaturanga. 5, inhale, up dog. 6, exhale, down dog. 7, warrior one. Inhale. 8, chaturanga. 9, up dog. 10, down dog. 11, warrior one. 12, chaturanga. 13, up dog. 14, down dog. Breathe here. Bend knees. 15, front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. 16, forward fold. 17, chair pose. And stand, exhale. So the inhales are all the odd numbers, and the inhales are the even numbers. So let's see if we could just do that with counting. So I guess it's 18, not 17. And then we pause to count the breaths in down dog. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and hold. Breathing in, breathing out. Front of the mat, 15, 16, 17, and 18, standing. All right, beautiful work. Let's try some standing poses here. So let's begin. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then come through Vinyasa if you like, otherwise down dog. Perfect. We'll lift that right leg up and open the hip. Down dog split. Lower that right shoulder, which has a tendency to peel open. And again, if you like, you can change this up. You could bend that right knee. Feel a little bit more quadricep stretch. And then go ahead and step your right foot forward. Warrior 1. Bring the hands behind you, interlace, and expand the chest. So we want to pull those shoulder blades back together. If you can, have the heels of your hands touching. And then start to shift the weight forward into that right foot. And maybe float the left foot up for warrior 3. Now that back leg, maybe it'll come parallel to the floor. Maybe you'd like to keep an anchor there. Just make sure the left leg and your whole torso are all in one line. So try not to break that at that left hip crease. And obviously, maybe not obviously, you can change the arms, right? You can always hold on to something if you need a little help. Focus your gaze. Two more breaths. And then bend that right knee, step back, bring those arms up. Yeah. Let's cross that left arm under the right arm. Gomukhasana arms. Lift the elbows up. And then if you want, you can keep this bind for a twist, taking that left elbow over that right knee. Other variations, you can open those arms wide like wings. You could always put that left knee down on the floor if that's better for you. And then release. Hands to the floor. Optional vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up. Open the hip. Stack left hip over right. Lower that left shoulder so that it's in line with the right shoulder. And if you want, you can always bend left knee. Step the left foot forward. Warrior one. And then bring those hands behind you. This time, see if you can interlace your fingers the opposite way. So the other thumb on top. It's a little awkward. If you can, right, you're spreading those collarbones and maybe pulling the heels of the hands to touch. And you can lean back just a little bit. More of that chest expansion. And then go ahead and start to shift the weight onto the left foot. Maybe floating that right leg up for warrior three. Maybe you'll come parallel to the floor, but remember, you always have that option to anchor that right toe. Just make sure there's one unbroken line from right toe to that chin, right? We want that right hip crease to be uncreased. Option to hold on to something. Focusing your gaze. 2 more breaths. Then bending the left knee, step back. And release those arms. This time, let's take the right arm under the left. Lift those elbows up, get long. And then we can twist here, taking the right elbow outside that left knee. And maybe opening your wings for that twist. Feel free to put the right knee onto the floor if that's helpful. When you're ready, release your hands to the floor. Come through Vinyasa. We'll meet you in downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, come to the top of your mat. Reverse your swan. And come back to Tadasana. Beautiful. So chest expansion has the arms behind us, always beautiful. And then that Gomukhasana, or sorry, eagle pose, pardon me, is really a back expansion. So let's try eagle pose. We'll take a squat. Take your left arm under your right. Okay, and then see if you can just put all the weight onto the right foot. Peel your left heel off the floor and cross your left leg over. Now, maybe the left toes are on the floor, like a little kickstand. Maybe you can double wrap. But in either case, squeeze the thighs together wherever you are. Squeeze. Bend that right knee even more. And some people have a fold in their practice. If you're going to do that, you just want to pull that belly button in, protecting, and then maybe bow, touch that left elbow to that left knee. You can stay here or come back up. And for anyone who's struggling with this, you can always separate those thighs and just stand in a regular chair pose like this, right? That's always possible. For the rest of us, if you want, we can take this into half moon. So it'd be nice if you have a block handy. Mine's not in exactly the right place. So we release the arms, right hand onto the front corner of your mat or a block, and open up, expand your limbs, all four corners of the earth. I like to think of half moon as all limbs pose, where the limbs are the rays of the sun, and the sun is right at your center, right at your third chakra, Manipura. Glowing yellow gold, big ball of fiery sun right at your core. For anyone who would like, you could have a bind here. Bend the left knee, reach for the left ankle with the left hand, and pull that foot away. Like a little bit of a back bend happening. And then go ahead and release. You can place your hands on the floor, bend the right knee, and tuck your left knee outside the right foot and come to sit. Half Maharishi pose. The modification for Maharishi pose is to extend the left leg long. And the reason you would want to do that, if you cannot get that right buttock to sit on the floor, you extend the left leg long and flex that foot. But we're coming into a twist. We want to twist on an upright, erect spine. So go ahead and make sure the knee is pointing up and the right foot is on the floor. Wrap your left arm around, right hand behind you. And if you have any binds here or variations, feel free. I love to hug this right knee in so that I get a stretch on that outer right thigh. But if you don't want that, you can always take the left elbow beyond the right knee and use that arm to lever you around deeper into your twist. Remember that we're not sinking into the shoulders, we're lifting up. So almost stick your chest out. You can imagine that my hand is on the back of your heart. And then keeping the neck long, no wrinkles in the back of your neck, swivel your gaze toward the back of the room. Two more breaths. And then a counter twist. So bring the right elbow inside the left knee and gaze over toward your left shoulder. Release it. If the left leg is straight, you can bend the knee, cross the ankles. Vinyasa. Downward dog. When you're ready, come to the top of your mat. Have a block there, ready to go. Reverse swan and Tadasana. Good. So we'll try that eagle pose on the other side. So begin with the right arm underneath the left. Sit down and peel the right heel off the mat. Cross the right leg over the left. And maybe you can double wrap on this side. So we're not perfectly symmetrical, right? Sometimes one side's easier than the other. So you can go ahead and you can lift the elbows up high. You'll feel that nice stretch across the top of your back. Rhomboid stretching. And then if you wanted, you can pull the belly button in and try and bring that right elbow to that right knee. Always a possibility. Otherwise, you can stay upright. Keep bending that left knee. You're really in a chair here for this eagle pose. Focusing on an unmoving spot. Just soften the gaze, soften the skin around your eyes. And recall that if this isn't happening for you, and it would be easier to just separate the feet right? You could just have a chair here if you like. For the rest of us, we're going to try and turn this into our half moon. So go ahead and unwind your bind. Left hand on the front corner of your mat or onto a block, and expand your limbs out to all four corners. So in this half moon, remember, like your whole torso is facing to the side, right? That right foot is flexed, the heel pushing out. Maybe if you're reaching to the back of your room, pushing out through a window. And if you bound on the other side, Chapasana, that's what we call this. So bend the right knee, reach for the right ankle, pull the foot away from the hand, and you get a little bit of a back bend here. And more heart opening. It's always good. And when you're ready to come out, hands down, bend both knees, right knee outside the left, and come to sit through half Maharishi pose. And again, the same rules apply. If you cannot get your left hip, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So if I'm here, there's air under this left hip. I don't want to twist on that curved spine. So instead, you'll straighten out your right leg, ground that left hip to the floor so you can sit up nice and tall. And you're flexing that right foot. So whichever leg position you've chosen, go ahead and draw that left knee up. So it's pointing up and your left toes are grounded, glued to the floor. You can wrap that right arm around. So the knee is in the crook of the right elbow, left hand behind you, fingertips pointing away. Remember that as you exhale, you can pull that belly button into the spine and swivel. Right? Turn that twist, turn that torso to make the twist. That left shoulder's pointing to the back of the room and your gazes as well. The length of the back of your neck is the same as the length of the front of your neck. And then if you want it a little bit more, you can always take that right elbow beyond that left knee and use it to lever you deeper into the twist. I like to hold on because it just helps me to stretch that outside of that left hip. Keeping that breath smooth, even, continuous. Inhale to lengthen, lighten, expand. Exhale to contract, to deepen, to ground. And then take a counter twist, swiveling around. Left elbow this time inside the left knee, right hand behind, and gaze over your right shoulder. So nice. So from here, come back forward. We'll take Baddha Konasana. You can use your hands again to move the flesh of the buttocks back behind you. Someone joked and called this grab your asana. I like that. You can have that block handy. So Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. It's simply a cobbler pose. And the distance from my heel to my groin is about one of my foot lengths. And you can measure out. You could go further away. That's more like Tarasana. And the traditional really has the heels much closer in. I don't like that on my knees. So I think it's contraindicated, but you get to decide. So you can experiment here. Hold on to your ankles, lift your chest up, inhale, expand, and then exhale to fold. And you don't have to force this, right? You want to just easily round over. No big deal. You don't get extra points or extra credit if your forehead touches your foot or your knees drop to the floor. In fact, we all get an A. And actually, I'm changing it. We all get an A plus. Extra credit is just breathing. And then to safely come up, hands under those shoulders and lift up. Pigeon pose. Pigeon pose can be done either facing down, um, prone, or on your back, supine. So I'm going to show the supine way first, just because I think it's gentler and easier. You cross that right ankle over that left thigh. Make sure you're flexing the right foot. Reach the right hand through the triangle formed by your legs, left hand behind, and then just hug those thighs in. If you've got a little more flexibility or super long arms, you might even reach up to the shin and interlace your fingers. But whichever pose, pull those shoulders down to the floor. For the rest of us, here we are in Baddha Konasana. You leave that right leg where it is. If you're on a mat, the knee is actually pointing off the mat. And then lean to the right, sweep that left leg behind you and look around behind you. Make sure that left leg is inside the constraints of your mat. And if you had a line drawn down the middle of your mat lengthwise, your leg would be on that line. And then relax the foot behind you. You can come on up to your fingertips first. Just come to a little preparatory back bend, lengthening, looking up, and then exhaling, melting yourself down onto your elbows. You can stack fists, rest your forehead on your hands, and this just keeps the head aligned with your spine. If you want to go deeper, open your elbows wide, palms flat, forehead back of palms. And then there's also full prostration, where you can walk your hands out in front of you, plant your chest on the mat, chin or forehead on the mat. Just take 5 luxurious breaths here. With each exhale, it's an opportunity to let something go. Now, if you're on your back, you can uncross that right leg, place both feet flat on the floor, and lift your hips up, come into a bridge. Feel free to interlace your hands beneath you for that chest expansion. For our face down prone pigeons, we're going to walk the hands under our shoulders, come on up to those fingertips for that back bend. You can stay right here or take a bind. So bending that left knee, reaching around to the instep of that right foot, and turn your gaze to look at that left big toe. And then if you like, you could create a bind with Gomukhasana hands. This is king pigeon pose, but don't feel obligated. And then you can release that bridge if you're on your back. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh, reach through, hug the knees in. For our prone pigeon posers, bring your feet back to Baddha Konasana. We want to align those feet on that imaginary line cutting through the middle of your mat. Lean to the left, sweep the right leg behind. Check to make sure that right leg is within the bounds of your mat. Straight back behind you. Inhale up onto your fingertips. Create that openness. And then exhale onto your elbows, stack fists, forehead on fists. Feel free to go deeper. Spread the elbows wide, flatten your hands, forehead back of hands, or full prostration. Walking your palms out in front of you, chest to the mat, chin or forehead on the mat. We'll have 5 leisurely breaths here. Allow the exhalation to help you find surrender and acceptance. See if you could soften just a little bit more each time you exhale. Grounding, deepening, releasing.
If you're on your back, you can uncross that left leg, both feet flat on the floor. Lift your hips up for that bridge. Interlace your fingers the other way, other thumb on top. If you're binding, use that for chest expansion. For the rest of us,
Hands under shoulders, lift yourself up, fingertips if you like, back bending. And then there's that bind if you want it. So bend the right knee, reach around with your right hand to the instep of that right foot. And you can stay here or you can find that bind, that king pigeon pose with the right toes in the crook of the right elbow, left arm up, or Gomukhasana, cow-faced arm. Very nice. So if you're on your back, you can slowly roll down. We're going to join you there. Release the bind. Sit off to the left, swing the right leg around, and slowly roll your way all the way to your mat. And I like to just windshield wipe my legs here. The wider the feet, the better. So see if you could take those feet out to the outer edges of your mat and really let that knee drop down. So you'll feel that stretch through the hip, through that hip flexor, the front of the thigh, and then change sides and see if you could drop that knee down and feel that stretch, the front of the thigh, the hip. Nice. And then go ahead back to the windshield wiping if it feels good. We could take one more twist here if you like. So drop the knees over to your left, but stack that right knee over the left. So that it's like you're sitting in a chair. Right arm out shoulder height, left arm also like a T, or you could use that left hand as a weight on that right thigh. And for some of us, maybe you're going to stretch that right leg out, grab the big toes. All right, so that toe is at shoulder height. You don't need to, right? Do what's best for you. And then switch sides. So you can hug those knees in, drop those knees to the right, arms like a T, look over your left shoulder. Feel free to take that right hand and use it as a weight. Remember, we're sitting like in a chair, 90-degree angle from those thighs to the torso. And then maybe if you did it on the other side, you'll extend. It's like a big toe hold, taking that leg out to shoulder height, right? We want shoulder height so there's no tension in the neck. Scapula, shoulder blades are flat on the floor behind you. Just enjoy. And then go ahead, draw those knees back to the center. You know, if you are not complete here, there's some other pose you want to do, like a shoulder stand or plow pose, please go ahead. Otherwise, let's start our final relaxation, Shavasana. So plant your feet on the floor. You can turn your heels wide, toes in, and tent one knee against the other if that gives you some ease. Internally rotating those femurs, the thigh bones, helps to relax that sacrum just a little bit. So you decide. If not a problem, go ahead and extend those legs out to a comfortable V. You can tuck your buttocks under you so you can broaden through the hip points, knees, toes splay out to the sides. Tuck one shoulder blade beneath you and then the other. Palms facing up, arms are below your shoulders, right? About 45 degrees. And you can experiment with this, right? Maybe you prefer to have the hands on your belly, whatever you like. Make sure your head is, or your neck is neutral. So maybe even tuck the chin a moment and then bring that nose and chin back to point straight up to the sky. Eyes are closed, lips are closed, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, taking this opportunity in Shavasana, a final relaxation, to integrate all of the work that you've done over the past hour. Our breath is effortless, just allowing that inhalation to move in naturally, uncontrolled, allowing that exhalation to move out uncontrolled. And feel free to add a mantra, a mind vehicle or mind tool. If you like, in English, you can think rising, falling, in, out, breathe in, breathe out, any of those. If you'd like to use Sanskrit, I love so hum, inhaling so, exhaling hum. The words mean I am that, which is the essence of yoga. We are all one. We are all connected. I am all that is. In, out. So in, out. So feeling free to remain in Shavasana as long as you can. If you are ready to come out of your pose, begin by deepening your breath, inhaling so the belly rises. Feel free to exhale with your mouth open and vocalize. Ah. Deep inhale, belly rises. Ah. One more. Deep inhale, belly rises. Ah. Can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Circle hands at the wrist, feet at the ankles. Carefully bend your knees, windshield wipe knees side to side. Roll everything over to one side. Carefully use your hands to press out to a seated position, Sukhasana. Let's bring our hands to our hearts. Namaste means the light and the love in me bow to acknowledging the light and the love in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. Look forward to seeing you again.